The Ninetales criminal gang have recently taken up modifying Aegis reclaimers for their niche purposes. Between locking down stations, they've also committed to data theft and human organ trafficking. In this video, we'll take a look at 2 more of the new reclaimer missions added in 3.17.2, starting with a visit to Microtech, where I have been contracted to head aboard a Ninetales reclaimer to recover stolen data. The Ninetales have taken the data to their reclaimer, where it now sits on an encrypted server. The ship flies under the name Black Kite, and rumour has it that this particular reclaimer has been heavily modified for the purpose of handling stolen data. I must get aboard, find the encryption key for the Ninetales server, open up remote access for the true owner of the data, and once recovered, destroy the ship. We've seen a completely ruined reclaimer this patch, and a reclaimer with dead crew severely damaged. Now we were going aboard a crude and hostile reclaimer with malicious intent. When I caught up with the vessel, it was in orbit around Calliope, and not knowing what to expect, I left my ship a few hundred meters away to EVA the final distance. Once aboard, I needed to clear the ship of hostiles. I didn't know the reclaimer very well, except that the crew area consists of the main habitation deck and a lower bridge deck, and the industrial area at the back of the ship where cargo and salvage facilities can be found. After killing the first Ninetales on board, I circled around the drone room just in case there were others alerted. Next, I was heading down to the bridge. There was seemingly no one else on board. Now I could review the mission specifics and find out what I was doing in detail. The first task was finding the encryption key to unlock the Ninetales server. I head back up to search the Ninetales I killed upstairs, but did not find anything. The next logical place to look was the captain's quarters. The ship certainly had been modified, with all of these server racks taking up a ward in the captain's quarters. The encryption key was right there on the captain's desk, and it looked like it functioned in the same way as the crypto key. Now I just needed to find the socket for it. I immediately began searching the racks in the room for somewhere I could use the encryption key. I didn't find anything, so moved on to the next logical room, the server room. Again, I didn't find anywhere I could use the key, but then I realised modifications to the ship could be much more significant than I had imagined. The rear section of the ship is where the cargo deck and salvage processing are located. That was the only place left to search. The cargo deck was messy. As anyone who's been to Grimhex knows, the Ninetales are not exactly known for their housekeeping. And as I remembered, there are walkways overlooking the salvage processing deck. That would be my next stop. And it turns out that yes, the ship has been modified far beyond a few server racks. It was time to head down to the deck and look around. With the deck now clear, I could search for the server. I began checking the terminals in the room. I found supplies but no port. One stood out though. On the desk I found the necessary port for the key. And the download began immediately. With the download complete, there was just one thing left to do: destroy the ship.
Self-destruct initiated.
I hit the self-destruct and headed for the front elevator. I don't know exactly how long the timer is on self-destruct, but I knew I didn't have long. And there it was, the ship was gone. I gained a crime stat 2 for this, which according to the patch notes is not intended behaviour for the mission, but this one is definitely a lot of fun to run, and the new modified space in the Reclaimer was very cool. The next mission we're taking a look at is another case of the Ninetales modifying a Reclaimer, but this time they are in the business of harvesting human organs. The real problem here is that Crusader security have caught them and are in the process of impounding their ship, the October Rising. Ruto, who is the contact for the Ninetales we interact with, has requested that I go aboard the ship and recover a specific box labelled as medical supplies. Given the situation, I imagined the ship would be crawling with Crusader security, and so this one would definitely get messy. After a little scanning, I was able to locate the ship. I was a little confused because unlike the others, it was not specifically named on my MFD, showing instead the name of the pilot or owner or something. And when I drew closer, I spotted missiles being fired. I didn't want to try and engage targets in this Pisces, so figured getting out and aboard the October Rising as quickly as possible would be smart.
Surrender while you still can.
Please, power down.
Once on board, it was the same drill as before, clear the deck. The drone room here has been converted into an operating room, now in disrepair. This time around though, there was a marker for the package, so I knew where I had to go, and once again I would be heading for the rear section of the ship. By now I had built up enough of a crime stat for a bounty to be on my head, and I was very aware that bounty hunters could be following behind me at any moment. And on the salvage deck again, things were very different. I was surprised to find a keypad locking a container. I'd need to find the code, and so found a sheltered spot to check the mission description, just in case. There was no code in the description, so I'd need to do some searching. I kept one eye on the door and listened for the telltale sounds that other players would hear, but I also spotted a way to climb. Above were more security and another operating room. And here I found a data device I could read. I wanted to be out of here quickly. Every second was a chance for bounty hunters to come aboard. I saw a code and returned to the keypad. But it didn't work. I figured maybe I got the last 2 digits thrown around, I do that sometimes. But still, no luck. Again, I found a quiet spot and checked the data pad. I was using the wrong code. It had been updated. This time we got in and I could begin to move the box. As I left, I approached the doors very carefully. But outside, my ship had been destroyed and security were here in force. I figured I could try stealing one of their ships, and first attempted to get a ramp to break using the collisions with the box. We've seen cargo boxes cause tremendous damage in the past through prolonged contact with a ship. Not this time though, the ship moved away. So next ship, we would try brute force with a weapon. have lots of ammo, I could move around for the task, but it didn't seem to matter. And for those curious, no, grenades will not work. You can fire them, sure, but outside of the shield they do not explode, and if you were close enough to get under the shield, the grenade would kill you. It was time to make some distance from the October Rising. No more skunks were available, and I was very much wanted at this time, so trusting strangers seemed like a bad idea. But in the end I bit the bullet and set up a beacon for someone to come and get me. I figured two things would help: payment more than the bounty, and making the trip as short as possible, ending in an armistice zone. I needed to get to Grimhex, but Grimhex is like Bounty Hunter Central. I'd want to be flying that part myself to make sure that I got in safe. No, one of the mining outposts on Salin below would do. Soon I had someone respond, Rincewild, and I received a party invite which I accepted. We opened up communication and nothing seemed suspicious. I gave as much information as I could, stopping short of mentioning the bounty, of course. I'd made some distance from security, not much in ship terms, it just felt like a lot in EVA. Not much later, Rincewild made it to me in an Aurora. I loaded the box and climbed aboard, but as I was typing that I was ready, disaster.
We're fucked.
The ship was attacked by security and immediately completely disabled. Now there were two of us stranded. I was again making distance when Rincewild advised me someone else was coming to collect us. This was very welcome, and so we just hung around with the box. The ship that arrived was a Vanguard and had no party marker. At first I thought it must be a bounty hunter, but it didn't shoot, and so we went aboard.
You can fly.
The pilot was a little jumpy though. Eventually though, he calmed down and we were on our way. You are looking very relaxed, I have to say. Yeah, okay. I gave you a good rating. If you haven't been paid, let me know, I'll send you some money. It should have paid you automatically, I think.
Well, I don't give a shit about credit. No worries.
Outstanding, amazing, thank you. To be honest, I'm just glad you didn't decide to come and collect on the bounty, because I'm very, very wanted right now. I claimed a 100i and prepped to launch. These guys had really helped me out, and I was very grateful for that. And thus far anyway, they hadn't tried to collect on the bounty, but now they'd been paid and they were in their rights to kill me. So I got out of there and made my way back to Grim as quickly as I could. And as one final twist on this, the mission failed to complete at the end. But I will say that this one was a lot of fun. I really want to go and run it again with a group of skunks and do it right, you know, shutting down the commissary and making sure we have transport and air support on hand, but I think it'll be a ton of fun. It reminded me a lot of the Price of Freedom. It's a shame that we are killing Crusader Security, they are like our allied faction in Stanton, but a fun mission is a fun mission, and this one is fun. The changes to the Reclaimer here feel a lot more expansive too, I guess because of the climbing section, a very cool environment to explore. As always, I want to thank all of you at home for watching, and send out a huge thank you to all of our amazing patrons who you can see on screen right now. Thank you all for the very generous support you provide me and the channel. Patrons like you all make the videos I put out possible, and I am hugely grateful to all of you for the help. If you are thinking of starting Star Citizen yourself, you can use the referral code in the description below to gain an extra 5,000 credits when signing up for a new account. And we'll be back with more very soon.